Hello guys, Scotty Senior here for another one. This is FIA time yet again in the manufacturers, again in the sexy ass library that Mr. Tom aka Blue Ukulele has made for us, with a bit of advertising going on in the back and with the hashtag so it is, cause that's the way I talk. So it is. I love this game, so I do. So that's what we do. Let's go on board here. We've managed to qualify in 5th. This was try number 1, and if you can bear with me in this, not to spoil the story altogether, but we had a long evening. We had every try that there was available to try. We done it as get an old name said, no harm done, and we saved him there. He was on his way out, but because we were on the inside and gave him that wee nudge, we saved him. Mr. Wingerman GG, which in the next race you're going to see something that for me you haven't seen before, from I've been doing live streams. But we're up into 3rd. We've started this race had a compulsory use of all tyre compounds. You had to use the softs, the mediums and the hards, so there was a lot of different strategies going on here. The safest strategy for us, as usual, is to start the race on the best tyre. It's unusual that we don't start on the best tyre, especially if we have a half decent qualifying. Lifting off there, trying to be careful. And we're glad that we didn't get a wee penalty there as well. But I suppose during this race there's no penalty system. Good news is, I do believe, as I'm making this video now, tonight there's going to be an update, so let's cross our fingers and hope we'll get reasonable penalties back and not ridiculous penalties back. But we're happy enough at the moment. We're in 3rd place with a bit of a gap behind us, and we must be thinking to ourselves, we're on the soft tyres. We've no idea if these guys are on the mediums, hards or softs, so we're being aggressive. This is the time of the race where we need to get the speed out of these tyres while we're on them. And Mr. Dimitri Lime being very nice with us, sir. Good driving, sir. An absolute gentleman. The guy knows how to race. And we'll get ourselves up into 2nd. And as I say, if you can bear with me here, guys, I'm going to try and squeeze 2 of these replays instead of me having to make 5 whole videos. I'm going to try and squeeze 2 into this one, and then we'll see if we can get 2 into the next one as well. So we'll jump outside and we'll have a skip as much as we can. Mr. Prost Chris coming up on us. We'll continue the skip. He's not right on us yet. We're still happy in 2nd place. What is our tyres? Our tyres are starting to affect us by now, no doubt. The tyre wear, I believe, was times 15. A lot of tyre wear, which was not particularly good for us in the Jag. Struggling with the fronts. Let's see if we're going to come in. We are indeed. We're coming in. We'll have a quick look at this here pit crew once again. I know we can skip past them. It's nothing interesting, but these guys just don't even appear human. Look at that. It's just perfection every time. Thank you very much again, Team Jag. And we'll come out in 10th. In a wee bit of a gap. Pretty lucky. We shall continue to skip while we're in the gap. And I feel like this race was going good for us. we were thinking to ourselves, this is it. We're going to take these points, we're going to take this result, and we're going to be able to get off and chill out for the rest of the evening. But you know what to say, anything can happen. As Murray Walker would say, anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does. We shall continue with the skip. We're in 8th place at the moment. We've went on to the hard tyres, which is going to leave us on slightly better tyres at the end of the race after our next pit stop. So we should be faster than anyone who has left the hard tyres for the final stint. As I say, a lot of strategies in this one. A lot of guys, depending on what car you were in, a lot of cars were strong enough on their tyres to be able to stay and do the whole race either on softs and mediums, and then pit in on the very last lap for hard tyres, or start on hard tyres and pit in at the end of lap 1 and get onto the quicker compounds. We were not really capable of doing that. Even our medium tyres, we couldn't get any more than 5 laps out of the softs, and 6, maybe 7 laps out of the mediums if we were really pushing. But on the 7th lap we would have definitely been slower. So we shall continue with the skip. We're up into 4th, and we've still got 2 guys right in front of us there. We'll jump back on board and continue with the skip. Is this the pitting lap? It's not. We're continuing on. But the tyres aren't looking too bad. I found myself I started to pick up the feel of the car on the soft tyres and the medium tyres with using the brake balance and going to the rear. Although when we got to the hard tyres, we did leave it in the middle, as the hard tyres didn't really wear as much for us. Let's continue with the skip, and we're staying out again. And you see, we tried to lose the slipstream there. These guys are starting to get into the slipstream, and this is our pitting lap, I believe. We want to do a pit this lap, and we don't want to be mauled right before our pit stop. It's a very risky pit stop here. If there's guys right on your ass, or if they happen to get a run up the inside of you, you can end up just being forced to do another whole lap. So, and you can see there, we tried to put our indicator on to let them know that we were coming in, and like a true amateur, we hit the handbrake instead. So here we are coming in. We've already seen the Sexy Jag team do their business once before. We'll skip past this, so we're out. Other guys are going to have a pit stop still left to do, and we're on stronger compound of tyres. As I say, we were feeling like we were for sure in the battle for a bottle of bubbly. We've had to go defensive there, as we're on the fresh tyres. We don't want to drop back and get stuck behind anyone, and there we go. And that is what has happened to us in this one. You can see, if we had a drop back there, we could have ended up being held up quite a lot. So we went defensive, and a wee bit disappointing. It certainly wasn't a deliberate nudge or anything like that from Mr. Chris. It was 100% an accident. It was just it was a shame. We were more than likely about to start pulling away from these guys on better tyres, or fresher tyres at the very least. We shall continue with a skip. We've got ourselves up the inside of Chris, and we'll continue with the skip, guys, and we'll try and get an apologies. There is going to have to be a grid walk for you to stick before the next race. But if you're into your meditation, I'm sure it'll be a perfect opportunity for you to just breathe in through your nose and hold it for 3 to 4 seconds, and then out through your mouth, and it'll not be too long. We've got ourselves a small penalty there. Mr. Toto, is Toto going for it on us? I would say Toto will have the patience now, because he sees us with the penalty. And there he goes. And again, we'll continue with a skip. Not much happening here with us at all. Mr. Mouse, I think Mr. Mouse passes us, I think, here, and yeah, it was steady, really weird to give it to him, and we thought that was a wee bit rude, but no harm done, just a wee bit rude. There was a shitload of space there for him to pass, but he came right out and used the whole track, and we've just lost it there, and we've dropped back yet again. So our first effort, we gave the fans what they came to see. We came home in 10th place with the first one. Now let's go and start some meditation for yous. We'll get this one started. And the grid walk. So yeah, we'll see how this race goes. I do believe we'll have to I'm talking and rambling on here. This is how I make these videos. We do all this bog standard editing. We don't have any kind of editing equipment, so it's bog standard. We'll get this shit done in one take. We have had a piss poor qualifying by the looks of it. We were down in 15th position there. And Mr. Smith getting himself on pole. Mr. Flow Riding in second. Lunch Truck in third with a nice green livery. And Casapo, we've had a few good races. We're about the same level as Casapo, from what it seems, in the races we've been in. Another beautiful green livery. I do love my green. And again, just enjoy the noise of these engines. I can't believe they don't give us an option to skip this shit, and you have to. It would be so much better if I had the choice. Mr. Look Who with an L at the end. So Look Who, and Winger Man. That is the guy who we're going to keep an eye on in this one. I don't think there'll be a lot of skipping in this one too. There's just a few incidents in this one that you need to see, or I need to show, I suppose. Not that you need to see. I'd prefer to hide it from you, perhaps, but no, we'll not do that. We shall bare our soul and accept all these thumbs downs. That is no doubt going to be on the way to us. Although let's see if we can make it a bit better with a bit of shit talking and a bit of commentary, maybe, just to make it not as bad as what it was. Oh, here we go. We'll go on board. We'll start that skip straight away. Up into the first corner. What do we like? We've kept our patience. Do we get any kind of run on the way out? We actually get a bit unlucky there with Mr. Wingerman. We'll continue to skip. Do we go for a move? No, we're more trying to discourage other guys behind us. And again, still nice and clean at the moment. Oh, we'll show you that. on the way in there. He definitely didn't want us getting up the inside of him there. He left his braking late, but we managed to get the cut back on him. And just a small nudge, just a small rudge. And we shall continue. As I say, guys, we're getting the move done here. That should be us. He's nowhere to go. Another spot. Does he come back at us? Not just yet. We'll continue with a skip. Oh, he's went for it that time, but surely that'll be a wee cut back again for us. And we continue with a skip. As I say, this will be a longer than usual video. Rather than me having to make 5 whole videos, we'll try to do it in 3. We'll try to squeeze the first 2 in, then the second 2, and then our final chance to show you what went down. We're hard on the brakes there, trying to avoid that guy, and we've dropped the back end out a bit and just about caught it. Again, same as the last race, although we've started this one on mediums because of the poor qualifying that we've done. We'll think about throwing it, would have said no, and we'll just try and stay. Oh, we've drifted out a wee bit there. No harm done, but no harm done. I think here this was a wee bit cheeky, Chris. We'll have to sweep back out. If I don't really think there was a big enough gap there between themselves and Mr. Luke Hill. That could have ended up a bit of an accident. Luckily, nothing has went down yet. Let's continue with the skip. We were wanting, I believe here, on the way into this one, we don't really want it off this guy. We want this guy to focus on what's going on, but he must get nervous. He must think that we're coming for it. He goes ultra defensive, which just loses us all a wee bit of time to the guys in front, and more importantly is threatening. When I know in our head this guy's going to be very, very defensive, and there's a risk of, there's not a risk, he has done it. We are now in a 6-way battle. He's put us back into a 6-way battle, and we were, before that defensive move, we weren't really all bunched up like this. Now let's continue with the skip. Is anyone making a move? They're not yet. What about on the way into this one? Anyone make the move? Again, that's a no. And we've done a wee wiggle there in front of Mr. Lou. Just to shake that ass, so as he could see that ass being shaken. And we were quite happy here that Mr. Prost was on our ass, or Chris we should call him, instead of Mr. Prost, because there's a lot of Mr. Prosts. We're just hoping that he makes his way forward and pulls us away from here. We'll continue with the skip. Oh, is anyone having a piece of us there? That was a poor corner from us. And again, we'll come round. We'll give it to Mr. Mouse. We could have fought him off, but we That's a risky place. And Mr. Smith is behind us now, giving us a wee nudge, no doubt on much better tyres, and we know that he was fast. And again, we try to get our indicator on for the second race in a row and hit that goddamn handbrake instead of the indicator. And there, Mr. Wingerman, that was where we got a wee bit upset. We feel like we had to slow down, or we were being pushed into that wall. As you see, he misjudged how fast he was going into the pits there. And as soon as we come out of the pits, we are looking for a lunge back on him. As soon as we come out, we thought to ourselves, if we get a chance, we're going for it. We'll continue with the skip again to try and keep this video to a reasonable length. I do believe an incident occurs. We're coming around to the incident with these two now. Yeah, well, I just have a quick juke of that one. You can see Mr. Wiggleman and Mr. Mouse was the instigator in that, as he came back onto the track, and he's got away with it. I'm sure it would have been accidental, no doubt. So we shall continue the same theme with the skip. We're already disgusted in this race. We know we're going again. There's nothing to be done about it. We're trying to squeeze Mr. Mouse there, to put him off, as if to say, come on, don't do that. Well, we're almost back into the slipstream of the guys in front, and now we're not. And if Mr. Mouse had the both of us lost time there, we would have been closer. He has gained the spot, but he's further away from the people in front than what he would have been if he had have been patient and then passed us on the next straight. And we'll see. I do believe we're coming round to where it's going to take place. So we're a wee bit annoyed with Mr. Wingerman at the moment, and on the way round here we see him thinking about going, and we immediately go over to try and tell him no, that's an or silly one, and he gives us a wee nudge, and that last wee nudge right there that he gives us, if we see it again, so there's a nudge, there's another nudge, and then that last nudge right there sends us out. And I think you can see just at the edge of the track there where we're heading, you can see a wee bunny rabbit, and we're now finding ourselves in a position to where we either have to kill a bunny rabbit or try and swerve to avoid him. Hopefully you can't see that wee bunny rabbit. He's just on the edge of the track there, and we've decided we're an animal lover. We're gonna swerve and avoid that bunny rabbit, and unfortunately Mr. Wingerman has been taken out. So yeah, but good news is the bunny rabbit survived. It was all safe. And we shall continue with the skip. We gave up on this race. We started feeling, although we did save the bunny rabbit, we started feeling very, very guilty about our behaviour and what we had did. It is the first rage really that I have done from I started live streaming. And here we can see Mr. Wingerman clearly did not spot the bunny rabbit at the side of the track, so he thinks to himself, deliberate takeout. And again, we know it's coming. We deserve that. Unfortunately, he didn't do it good. he should have, in order to get his revenge properly, he should have been on the inside, and then it would have been so easy for him. But he has totally kind of messed up his own revenge. We'll continue on now, guys, because nothing happens. The only guy behind it is Mr. Wingerman, and we come round to the last lap, and we actually deliberately slow way down as we're coming to the finish line. We slow way down. We were trying to tease him a wee bit, and we were actually a bit sorry that we didn't just slow down and let him beat us in that race. So yeah, there's a video. The next video will be of the next 2 tries. Thank you, guys.